Sakuya Nade Bal Olaram, or hello everyone and welcome. A Wolves Den Games is proud to present Saturday Stress Relief with your host, Garoy Lorkir. Take 2. Thank you, Raven. Okay, and give me 1 second here, folks, trying to get the webcam popping up properly. There we go. Okay. So we're going to try this again. Hopefully it doesn't cause any issues for us. Last time it did freeze on us, and that was kind of annoying. So hopefully this will do a little bit better. I apologize for the delays, but wanted to try and give it the best shot we had. So here we go again. Now this is almost exactly right where it had frozen last time. So that's actually kind of cool. Now we had sold some stuff, so we'll grab that. And due to that little hiccup, I'm going to run back to the house real quick to drop some stuff off so that we can go ahead and go find us some more ore and explore a bit more of the rather large open world map that we have available to us. And yes, you can adopt up to 2 children. Although, is that per house or is that just total? I've always been kind of curious about that. I mean, I would guess only 2, and then you could just move between houses as you need to. Ooh, a flute. I'll take that for Scanlan. Just to get these things cleared out, because it's easier to organize everything that way. I mean, eventually I'll end up coming in here and specifying like food in the kitchen. Or, I don't know, is this technically the kitchen? Since you cook here at the fire? I don't know. I think I'd probably qualify it as a kitchen, and since it's my game, my house, then sure, why not? That'll be the kitchen. Okay, did I already? Nope. Okay, just want to make sure this side of the room is clear real quick. I know I'm carrying too much to run. I'm not trying to run. Do you see me running? Can you hear me? Can you hear me calling? No. Can you see me running? Can you hear me calling you is how it goes, right? Pretty sure. I could be wrong. Food. Drop that off. And of course the main reason why I'm so willing to just kind of run around and explore what's available. Aha. is so that we can do something or other. I'm gonna hold on to that. I need a better spot for the instruments. Quicksilver ore. That was the only thing we were missing, wasn't it? Oh, whoops. Howdy, Jerome. Welcome. Just playing a little Skyrim for entertainment purposes. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll hold on to that. Mostly just doing a general general exploration of Skyrim rather than anything particular. Not really following any particular quests or anything, just mostly messing around and having some fun, getting a chance to talk to some people while we, as a company, take some much needed rest, sort of. It's kind of weird when you're, I'll probably be on for at least a couple of hours, minimum. I'm sure you can notice the, we have the channel fixed up above the name there. Okay, I want to drop some of these other things off somewhere. What do I have in here? Scrolls? No. Kid stuff. Okay. This is just general. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I should be here until about 8. My time, which is Central Time. I'm in Omaha. I'm gonna worry about actually like organizing all this stuff later. Right now, I just need to make some room, basically. Because I would want all my enchanted stuff in the Enchanter's Tower, and potions and ingredients in the proper towers, and I think I'm going to put all my instruments in the same place. Cool. Welcome to. I have no problem whatsoever with people joining in, wherever they may be. That needs to be fixed. I need those. There's all my soul gems. I knew I had more of those. I guess it pays for me to actually check all my stuff every now and then. I love how there's like 4 lit torches just sitting in this table and nothing's happening. Okay. So first, let's get those pelts put back away. And I know it might seem a little boring with me just kind of sitting here organizing, but to be completely honest, it gives me the best chance to sit here and talk to people rather than just trying to do any specific kind of walkthrough or anything. Everyone's also welcome to come over to twitch.tv/wolvesdengames and watch there, in case for whatever reason your message doesn't get through, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, because we do stream to well, just because of the way it seems to work out, I like to say we stream to UTwitface, because we stream to YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook all at the same time. But we don't always get all the messages through Facebook and YouTube, So if I miss a question or a comment or whatnot, I apologize. That would be the only reason I can think of. Oh wow, you're the second person who have told me that about my voice. Admittedly, um, to reveal a little secret to anybody who may be watching, all of our announcers, all four of them, are all me just working on some voice work. I am a dungeon master for D&D on certain nights, and well, that's pretty much what I do, is voicing characters and writing stories, and unfortunately I can't like type them out anymore. I had a car accident, or I was involved in a car accident, and it knocked loose some wiring or something up there, and reading can be problematic for me now, unfortunately, as can writing. Something about the way the narrative works. So what I do instead is I take the world I spent most of my life creating, and I turn around and allow other people to enjoy it by playing within the world I created. That way it's not, all that work is not a waste, because I'm clearly making use of it. Okay. Couldn't remember if that was empty or not. I know I've cleared out that area. Have I? Wow, I haven't touched anything in here yet. Yeah, I'm a very casual player when it comes to video games, mostly because I've never really had a whole lot of cash. So I've always had to be very, very focused on what I can actually spend, what money I have on. And right now everything's tied up in our game design and tabletop games that we're working on. And with the stress that comes from all the research and the writing that I do have to do for it, which thankfully, because of the way D&D books are written, it's so much easier to write for that, because in a weird sort of way it's very what's the word? The information itself is very piecemeal, sort of. I didn't mean to take the bowl, but oh well. Because it's in such small, bite-sized little tidbits, it makes it easier for me to write that form, I guess. Forgot we had all that full. Granted, I haven't even gone through... Oh, before I do that, I believe I just acquired a spell book. Or 12. What is this? Ball growth. I'm not taking the time to read that right now, but I'll get back to it. It's kind of why I... Ah, okay. I can understand that. Yeah, honestly, I had never played an actual tabletop RPG. I'm just gonna take all those for one reason. It's just easier to resort them this way. Anyway, the first game I ever played of actual tabletop D&D was February of 2018. It was after the car accident. Things weren't going very well for me mentally, and I was encouraged to check out the group over at the Critical Role channel on Twitch, and I watched their game, and I was hooked. Okay, so that's that one. Just the way Matthew Mercer tells a story, and he has that kind of voice that you could easily just fall asleep listening to if given the right moments. Yeah, and his stories are very well told, and the cast of that particular show is they're all professional voice actors, including Daytime Emmy Award winning Sam Riegel, which, at least for a while, I think we were required to call him that. Who, he is also a voice director for cartoons like DuckTales, working with people like David Tennant, who does the voice for Scrooge, I think. And I mean, just the little information that I've picked up from watching that show led me to rekindling that hope that I could still get my world published and bring it out so people can enjoy it. The difference being, instead of me being the one controlling the narrative, other than as the dungeon master when we're playtesting, and even then, as any dungeon master will tell you, there's no control there. It's like herding cats. Seriously. Depending on your players, you never really have to worry about anybody being comic relief because, well, depending on your players, again. But you don't really need comic relief with D&D because the dice rolls and the events will just kind of lend to that on its own. Going in and just watching through all 115 episodes of their first campaign, which are like 4 hours apiece, was actually totally worth it. Absolutely made me realize that I still had a shot, and all it takes is some serious hard work, the willingness to do it, and the hope that, well, people will enjoy what we do and go from there. Currently, we do have a couple of very simple system games out. One of which is the concept being that the players are all different kinds of wolves, actually. And the pack wakes up one morning and finds that some of the pups have wandered off on their own somewhere. And it's up to the group to find them. It is close enough for me to miss, apparently. I gave you a warning shot, too. Apparently. And on the rare time I do play, I do have a tendency to have rather roguish tendencies. Even my paladin currently. Yeah, the idea being you still have classes that are a little unexpected for something you'd get with a treasure map. I'm not worried about the armor. When you've got the animals, there are certain things you wouldn't expect them to be able to do. Like, one of the classes we have for it is actually driver. And it's like, wait, how would a wolf be able to drive? Well, that's kind of the point. It's a role-playing game. Have fun with it. 'Cause I mean, I remember growing up, even in high school, when we had time off, whether it was summer break or just the weekend or even just after school, we would love just spending hours hanging out in the backyard and playing Trivial Pursuit, actually, among other board games and card games, and that's kind of what helped keep us together as friends throughout some pretty rough times sometimes. And that kind of community strength is what we like to focus on, both as individuals and as a company. That community strength, I feel, is extremely important, and we as a company feel is extremely important, and often comes through being willing to cooperate and understand each other, and a little friendly competition to keep things moving forward. That's why I like this kind of game, where it's nice and open world, and it's not necessarily me versus someone, but just me trying to make do. Yeah. I mean, that's why there's so many different systems that are out there. There's I know Geek and Sundry has a very popular Vampire the Masquerade show, which is an actual play game where you see them sitting at the table and rolling the dice, and they really get into character. Sometimes more so than Critical Role. They'll go as far as LARPing their actual characters. Critical Role usually doesn't do that quite so much, but it also depends on which game they're doing and what guests they have. Although it is kind of interesting to find out that the Wheaton curse is a real thing. If you're unfamiliar with the Wheaton curse, Will Wheaton apparently can't roll dice to save his life. Quite literally. If he needs a low roll, he'll roll it high. If he needs a high roll, he'll roll it low. Something I picked up from watching him do a guest appearance And I mean, people who've been playing for 20 years look at him and say, that's statistically impossible. There's no way you could have rolled that badly, that consistently. And yet he does. But there's also different types of games in and of themselves. Some people prefer the serious dungeon crawl, kill all the creatures kind of thing, which there's even a board game for that called Munchkin. You kick in the door and you fight the monster and you loot the room. And if there's no monster, then you loot the room. First one to the last room wins. Very simple concept, and it's basically D&D without all the skill checks and other stuff that without the role play effect. And not everybody really gets into their character, and it's not like voices are necessary, but some people really enjoy that. And me as a DM, the voices are more just to differentiate characters, because while the players have their own specific characters, I have to play everything else. Not just the NPCs, but every monster, every villain, every shopkeep. Which means a lot of acting and improv skill on my part, which I'm used to being a storyteller, and while I do have some acting experience due to like high school plays and stuff, well, even more recent than that, I'm not well trained in it. My chops are still rusty as far as acting, but I'm working on it. And D&D is great for helping with being able to improv something quickly, particularly when your players go, okay, we're level 2, we can take on this thing that can shrug off every spell that we have in our arsenal and kill us dead like we're nothing. Let's go for it. And if it's like just some really big mindless beast, that's one thing. But when it's something intelligent, you're just asking for it. So, yeah, it definitely depends on whoops, maybe I should have left that alone. Yeah, maybe. Wait, that means there's something. That's the one to go for. I think I'm in a little bit of trouble. I'll be okay. Ooh. Make sure everything's enchanted properly. Grab a quick healing potion real quick. Yep, that'll help. That'll help. Actually, why not? And no, that's too much. Eh. Wow. Even that wasn't enough. Oops. Again, that's okay. We've just kind of exploring. Wow, back at the house. I'm good with that, because I completely forgot about the fact that we've got plenty of that found. We haven't done much over here yet. Any thoughts, folks? I don't have anywhere in specific I need to go because I'm not really doing the quests at all. Broken Helm Hollow. Don't know what that's for, but it's on the map, so maybe? Hall of the Vigilant. That actually sounds more interesting to me. I'm gonna head for the Hall of the Vigilant, unless anybody has any other ideas in mind. And if you do, just go ahead and feel free to mention it. I have no problem doing a fast travel somewhere else if I need to. Let's not draw too much attention to ourselves. Okay, first off, Hall of the Vigilant would be directly in front of me that way. So let's try not to get squished by a giant. As we try to get that hall marked off so we can maybe find out what exactly is so special about it. Now, for those who haven't followed along with us before, I am familiar with the game. I've played through quite a bit. This is a restart for clearing everything out, just for a random... Hello, Miss Adika. Thank you. For those of you over on YouTube or Facebook, you are welcome to join us at the Twitch channel, which you'll see over there, right next to my little window. We have information regarding who we are and what we do, as well as various other information kind of scattered around. We are mostly a tabletop company, but and not just tabletop role playing. Just to be clear, we are also working on a cooperative collectible card game. I can't really compare it to anything, because most of those are highly competitive. The only other cooperative card game I can think of offhand, other than like some of the classics where you work with a partner, the only other specifically cooperative one that I can think of is the Dresden Files card game. The Hall of the Vigilant, and it's been torched? Sure. Because I can use amulets to make something or other. I can use the amulet to make a shrine in the basement of the house. So I'm trying to collect all those. Vampires got here. Eh. I mean, I could take them, but I don't really need to. As far as the outfits, I'm limited to just how many mannequins will be available for me to, just in case. And I don't remember what else the amulets might do. So, better to have more than I need than not have enough. Or as they said on Alien vs. Predator, better to need it and not have it than... No, better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So there was a fight here between these Vigilant of Stendarr and some vampires. And the resulting the fight ended up resulting in a fire. Now, considering this is Skyrim and not something like Days Gone, I can't sit here and track to see if there were any survivors or anything. Because I do have a bunch of Dawnguard stuff. Like the Icicle. Oh. I used to have a pretty good grasp on Quenya, I think it was. It might have been Sindarin. I had a little bit of both in there. But yeah, I did some study on that. Lately, however, it's been more of a focus on a language called Mando'a, which is the language of the Mandalorian culture originally from Star Wars. It's kind of become something else since that. Whether George Lucas intended that or not. It's kind of why our intro and our outro, we begin and we end with Mandalorian phrases. My particular love of voice actors and voice acting, however, came from being a kid and watching like Animaniacs and Looney Tunes and even the Disney films, and I always found it amazing how many people did so many different characters, not just the ones that are easily recognized, like Patrick Warburton, who, even though he uses just his normal voice for every character he does, each character is very distinct, but you can tell exactly who it is who's voicing that character. And then you have other people like uh, Peter Cullen and Frank Welker, who, if you don't know who they are, Peter Cullen is probably partly most famous for being Optimus Prime in everything. I don't know if they've ever had anybody do the voice for Optimus other than him. In fact, he also used the voice of Optimus for the voice of Carr, the evil Kit on Knight Rider. Karr. I don't remember what that one was meant to be. Knight, automated, something or other. You know, I was just passing by, but no, you decided you had to attack. Oh, there's a wall there. Why? They're not even aiming at me anymore. That's so funny. If I could still read properly, then I could probably attempt to try and remind myself quite how to do some of the Elven languages from Tolkien, but I don't know. Reading certain things and reading, depending on what it is and how long I'm reading it, I end up with these blinding migraines, which is terrible because when you're trying to write and your head hurts so much that you can't see for hours, it makes it very difficult to get a whole lot of work done. So because of that, we have these mandatory rest breaks to help prevent issues like that, and also to help cut down on stress. And in doing so, we hope to help kind of get our name out there. Hey man, I was just trying to get something marked on my map. Now you want to make this personal or something? Fine. I'm not a werewolf, I'm a cat. Yeah. I mean, come on, people. Just 'cause I... Well, just 'cause I'm furry doesn't make me a werewolf. Which is kind of funny being a cat when our company name is A Wolf's Den Games. I did get it marked. That's right. I should probably have made some crossbow bolts now that I think about it. Does anybody else find it odd that I sometimes just wander aimlessly on here? I mean, you at least find something interesting. Unless you go out too far out that way and then you hit the edge of the water and can't really do much more. Wow, I'm hoping that's a lot of iron. Because when you're building a house, you need a lot of iron. But now that I also have the transmutation spell, not only do I have iron, but I've got silver and gold too. That didn't have as much gold as I was hoping, or iron as I was hoping. I heard metal on metal. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Well, that was easy. I didn't even have to work for that one. Let's see. That out there looks really, really interesting. But so does that right there. And that one isn't on an island out in the middle of the water. Okay, let's see. Trying to remember where the other two properties are that you can build. Not that I have enough to... Do I have enough? That's me running around not even paying attention how much gold I have. Hey, we'll take that, we'll take that, we'll take that. Oh wait, how much gold? And I guess when I have trouble with scheduling regarding a D&D session, it's kind of nice to be able to just jump on here and play some Skyrim, because this is pretty close. Walk away, wolves. Yay. I was actually afraid I was going to have to kill those wolves. RPG video game. Huh. Of the ones I've played, because admittedly I don't play a lot of video games. Of the ones I've played, I'm kind of torn between Legend of Zelda as a series, like overall, or I really like Borderlands a lot. It just tends to me be a little more difficult in terms of dag nabbit. Stop. I did not mean to have to deal with those things, but oh well. I really enjoy what they've done as far as the storyline for Borderlands, at least so far from what I've played. I've played all the way through the first one, and most, if not all, of the DLCs, although, not gonna lie, that Underdome pisses me off. Mostly because I played solo on like everything for that. So the did I say something about an arrow? No. Yeah, it did say something about an arrow. There. Forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah. I think they've done a really good job in terms of their story and everything, but some aspects, I don't know, I haven't really had a chance to explore it all that much. And when doing a stream, I'm more the type who would rather interact with chat than necessarily worry about okay, so I'm gonna have to deal with that. I'd rather be able to interact with chat than spend my time focused strictly on the screen and not having anything much to say other than discuss the game. And yeah, I'd rather sit here and be like, hey, how's it going? Hope everybody's having a great day. And be able to discuss, like, not just games, but movies and TV shows and books. Big fan of books. Howdy, Andres. Welcome back. Whoops. Yeah, I kind of ran myself into some trouble again. Huh. Oh, cool. I need bolts. Cool. I had never played until 2018, and I love the freedom it allows, because with all these video games, you can still, even with all the open world map games, there's a lot you can do. There's a lot you're allowed to do, but you're still limited by the game's programming. While with something like D&D, not necessarily just Dungeons and Dragons, but also things like, depending on what kind of world you're into, there's the Pathfinder rule set, there's the Vampire the Masquerade rule set. Generally, if there's a fandom for it, there's probably a game, a tabletop game for it somewhere. Oh, yikes. Here I go, wandering randomly into places and not paying any attention to what's going on, and I think I'll worry about that one a bit later. 'Cause I'm sure there's a quest that I'm supposed to do here. Huh. I'm gonna up the health, 'cause oh, cool. For anybody who might be interested, has anybody seen Stranger Things or been watching that series at all? Because that's an amazing little bit of D&D thrown into the way that seems to work. A bunch of kids back in the 80s playing Dungeons and Dragons and building their friendship around the concept of the party always helps each other out. No party member left behind kind of thing. Strangely enough, I read Stephen King's Dark Tower before I read Tolkien. I wouldn't have read Tolkien if not for Stephen King. I can say the same about Harry Potter. Stephen King said that an aspiring author could do worse than to study J.R.R. Tolkien's style, because she is a current master of backstory. And at the time, all I was a writer. So my focus was on what could make me a better one. And when he had explained that, I said, okay, I should check this out at least. I had had no interest in Harry whatsoever. Yeah, yeah. The satanic panic of the 80s was definitely a major thing. And then nowadays, you start finding out that incredibly cool people have been playing D&D all their life, like Matthew Lillard, for example. Matthew Lillard recently started a whole company based around one of his characters he's been playing forever. And then to see people like Joe Manganiello from all kinds of things. Is there nowhere else for me to go here? Oh yeah, here. Someone else who's read CJ Cherry. Wow. You're the first person I have seen mention that name ever. That wasn't me. Although, personally, the only thing I've read is the Channer series, which I love that whole take on the twist on the usual sci-fi concept, where all these other things are alien, and it's the humans it's the human perspective that we have to to view these beings from. And with the Channer series, well, the humans are the ones who are the aliens. Everybody else kind of knows each other, and it makes the humans the odd ones, and it's not from the human point of view at all. I will definitely attempt that. Unfortunately, when it comes to reading, what I have to do these days is go through audiobooks. Though I do know of a couple of sites that are where you can listen free, which is awesome. When all your when everything you have is tied up into trying to get back on your feet by starting a new business out of the blue, that's interesting going, to just leave it at that. Little crazy, but it was kind of at the point of, well, I could go ahead and risk it, or I don't know. In my life, I've survived too much to give up on anything now. So, car accident happened to take away my ability to read and write the way I used to. Okay, that's fine. I'll find another way to make it work. And I guess that's what's kind of helped keep me moving forward. Even if it does sound like I'm just quoting Meet the Robinsons. Okay, let's try there. Uh-oh. First, eat all the food. There, that puts me well under the weight limit. Ooh, another dragon shout. I'm going for that. You're probably going, that's insane. You're level 19 and you're going for full-on dragon shout up at one of those places? Yes, I am. Granted, my Tabaxi Paladin in the D&D game that I play in, which took about a year for a game I could actually play in to start. Sort of. I mean, there was one, but it was kind of entirely by the seat of your pants kind of thing, and everybody lost thread of the narrative rather quickly. So, recently another campaign opened up that allowed me to actually play instead of run the game, which is kind of interesting. I had played like 2 games, and I've been in charge of them almost every game since. And the first 6 months of our company designing and putting games together, starting to get our campaign guide done, that was interesting because we didn't have any of the books. We didn't have other than the free resources on the dndbeyond.com site. Whoops. That's what I get for not roguing like I should. Uh-oh. Whoops. I'm sure I was saying something. I apologize for getting... Oh yeah, Stephen Colbert finding out he was a D&D player was quite interesting as well. If you get a chance to watch that, I think it's a 1-hour special? 2-hour special? Do you remember, Miss Adika? I do not recall off the top of my head. On the upside, this gives me a chance to remember to sneak in. Well, we've got a little bit of space. I lost track of it. Yeah, 1-hour special with Stephen Colbert. Oh, that also means I probably lost the stuff I'd picked up. Oh well. I'm okay with that. They had Matt Mercer, who anybody who might play Hearthstone or Resident Evil might know that name. He is he's the DM for the Critical Role Dungeons and Dragons actual play show that's been going on for 4 or 5 years now. They're on their 2nd campaign. If you'd like to see what D&D can be, you should definitely take a look at that. It's a trip. Now, that doesn't mean to say that people should just expect their games to automatically be something like that. Because, well, every DM is different and every player is different. And because of that, you get some insane nonsense sometimes, which actually can make things really interesting. Things like, there was this one time a character, during a combat situation against some zombies, ended up cutting one of the zombies in half. Because when you get an orc barbarian in a rage and upset at whatever's coming at him, tends to lose track of just how much damage he can do at a time. So he chopped the zombie in half, and then his partner decided, in order for us to be able to see where we're going and what's going on, how about we cast the light spell on the top half of this zombie? They were like, okay. And then the orc decided, had decided that he was going to in order to be able to get a better view of the surrounding rooms, the orc decided he was going to come along and remove the rest of the zombie's limbs and scatter those about the grave site they were in order to give them enough light to see everywhere. It was some crazy stuff. But those are the kinds of things that happen and are not something that necessarily you'd be able to do in a game like Skyrim, or not really sure what else. Is someone there? I just shot you with 3 arrows. By the time you realized someone was here, well... Ooh, Staff of Firebolts. I'm keeping that. That reminds me of another thing that I'd seen during a D&D game. Somebody had sat there I was carrying almost 7 pounds of food. Anyway. Let's get this shout so that it... There we go. Not that I can unlock any of the shouts yet. That is absolutely true, folks. I have yet to actually face a dragon. I did so on purpose because I'm not here for quests. I'm here for entertainment value and fun and being able to chat with folks. because I find it more interesting. I don't know. If I'm not entertaining enough, just feel free to let me know. I know yesterday somebody had been in and they were like, you know, I'm going to come in and I'm going to watch because I need something soothing to put me to sleep. And I was like, okay. And then after the stream ended, the cute chick that plays cards. Okay, Miss Adika, I'm sure we can get the cute chick who plays cards back. I didn't realize it was a wolf. Dag nabbit. I'm sorry. Hey, get back here. Thank you. I needed my arrow back. Yeah, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we usually have Miss Adika on playing Hearthstone, if anybody's interested in watching some of that. On Mondays, I tend to play Magic the Gathering for at least a little bit. I am a casual player. I am not a fan of the grind, so I'm not the type of player who wants to sit there for hours and just grind for wins in order to get whatever, regardless of the game. I'm more of a, I'm going to explore, and if it means I can pick stuff up, great. If it means I can't, oh well. And with Skyrim, I don't really see it as much of a grind because it's just mostly an excuse for me to spend more time chatting to the wonderful folks willing to give us a view. That's more my approach to it. But yeah, I'm willing to play at least a little bit of Magic the Gathering. We are hoping eventually to be able to set up an actual table and some cameras and do proper tabletop streaming, whether it's board games or card games or I don't know if anybody might be interested in watching some D&D one-shots or possibly a campaign. I could probably do something like that. I don't know. Depends. What do you guys want to see? Because again, this is more relaxation time and getting away from work for a bit. But if you guys would actually want to see us run a game or a campaign, I can work on setting something up. Worst comes to worst, I could probably set something up somewhere. Yeah, I can understand that. I could probably get something together. I know Thursday night. Let's see. Tuesday night is Tox Machina, which is the... Wow, that rabbit is clueless. And I still missed. I'm just gonna give up there. That was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. Yeah, Tuesdays at the Critical Role channel is... I'm still seeing that. Okay, that's what I had wanted to mark. That's why I'd gone up that direction. Tuesday night is when Critical Role has their Talks Machina show, which is kind of like, I'll remember that. That would be interesting. Although I'm kind of surprised they didn't throw in some sort of Monty Python uh, kind of a Monty Python and the Holy Grail kind of moment where you throw a rage spell on a rabbit and it jumps up and rips your throat out. You're just like, what just happened? Okay. I guess I picked up one too many. I have no problem dropping those off. Okay, I want to go that way. So, dagnabbit. Yeah, Talks Machina is kind of like an anti-game or anti-talk show, sort of. But anybody who is a Stranger Things fan, if you've watched the Beyond Stranger Things series or show that they came up with, it's very much like that. Rather irreverent at times, but they give you little clips of what had happened on the previous episode and that kind of thing. Yeah, if you haven't seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail, they have this moment where where Tim the Enchanter, that's his name, Tim the Enchanter, is warning them about this foul beast, and they get to this cave, and this little rabbit just comes hopping out, and they're like, so where's the beast? Is it in the cave? And the guy's like, no, that's it. It's got these sharp teeth, and everybody's just kind of like, okay, whatever. They charge in, and the rabbit starts biting people's heads off. And they have to retreat. And I think the main reason for that particular moment of ridiculousness is strictly because it's easier to film a film if you can remove the majority of your actors as quickly as possible. It's a money thing. Granted, I'm the kind of person who Yep. Although I don't believe that was the guy at the bridge, but yeah, it was right around that moment. I just think it'd be hilarious to see that happen in some kind of game, other than, well, like, kind of expect it in Borderlands. They've got so many Easter eggs just thrown into there. And also, speaking of D&D, that's one of the things I noticed. If you've seen the Ready Player One movie but haven't read the book, the first key is actually located in one of the most famous D&D dungeons that's ever been published. Mostly because it was written by the creator of D&D, Gary Gygax. There's a lot of D&D references in that. Although I do want to try and get the mechanics for our card game figured out properly as quickly as possible due to just having another option out there for things to play just for entertainment's sake. Which the card game is actually kind of based on our very first... Dagnabbit. I didn't want to shoot... I didn't want to kill you guys in the first place, so... yeah. I just wanted to get that thing marked off, man. The card game is kind of based off of our first short form game about the wolves and trying to find the pups. Only with the cards, it would be designed so that the players would be searching through the deck, which would represent various obstacles, tools, resources, and whatnot, as well as individual cards for each of the little lost wolf pups. And the point being, in order to get past the obstacles, you got to use your tools and get the help of your friends in order to locate and rescue the pups from wherever they had gotten lost. Rather than just walk in blindly. That'd be great.
Hadring got himself another customer, eh?
Hmm.
You see any other inns around here? Where else would I go to drink? Sure, walk away. I wasn't talking or anything.
Hello there, traveler. This old place? Been here forever. Built by my great-grandfather.
Yeah, that way the players are working together to defeat the deck, rather than each player trying to beat the other player. By forcing people to cooperate more, well, not forcing, but by allowing the option to cooperate in order to get further along in the game, it makes things a lot more friendly and makes it easier to help build a stronger community, plus just all around have fun.
Name's Malablob or Malaclob, one of them funny orc names. Talks real good though, not a savage at all. Said he's a writer. Don't know what kind of job that is, but it must earn him some pretty coin. He's paid up for the next few months. He mostly just hangs about. Goes down to the lake. Sometimes samples the stores of wine in the cellar. Man can do whatever he pleases, as far as I care.
Good to know. Doesn't seem to have any...
Anything you need, just holler.
But yeah, I figure, considering the considering how much of gaming, at least up to a point, seems to be so much of gotta beat the other guy that we seem to have forgotten that cooperation seems to go a lot farther in the long run than toxic competition, as opposed to friendly competition where people are encouraging each other rather than me first kind of attitude. But that's kind of been our philosophy. The way you would lose is if you can't get past the obstacles to be able to rescue the pups. Because the point being, once you draw all the pup cards, then the game's over and everybody has a chance to actually win and celebrate the fact of, hey, this was great. Or, you know, next time maybe if we did this, it might go a little faster, or that kind of thing. It'd be more of a time challenge rather than a me versus you kind of challenge, if that makes any sense. And then there's the game we're working on in order to bring, in order to help, hopefully help, again, people particularly who struggle with various things like anxiety and whatnot, to understand that it's okay to ask for help when you need it. That there's nothing wrong with asking for help if things are just too much for you. Mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever it happens to be. If you know who's there for you, it's more likely you'll know who to go to. In order to get that help and support that you might need. Because we're all human beings, so we're all in this together. People just have a tendency to forget that sometimes. At least, that's my view.
I really... Hey.
Hi. But I didn't steal his sweet roll.
I value my privacy, so if you don't mind...
Oh, I don't mind at all. I have no problem just kind of wandering through here and seeing what you got. Huh. That's another thing that's a little different about Dungeons and Dragons and most tabletop games. I mean, admittedly, there are dungeon masters who don't necessarily agree, but it's not really players versus the DM. It's more players versus the environment kind of thing. It's just the DM has to cover has to keep track of the rules and make sure that things are that the environment is operating the way the environment should. In order to, I guess it's more for a character study, but it also helps promote teamwork and helps teach math, problem solving, thinking outside the box. I mean, all kinds of things. And it helps you deal with some stressful issues in a safer environment than encountering them real world, I guess I'd say. It's the principle of the thing. Especially considering I'm just going to eat all the food again in just a second anyway. I don't know, it's taken a long time and a lot of study and a lot of work for us to get as far as we have, and we still have a long way to go, but at least it's an enjoyable job. I know I certainly have fun writing out the lore and building the kind of, or putting together the kind of information that is necessary for at least making an interesting twist on existing existing settings. If you're more of a steampunk kind of fan, there's the Eberron setting, which is covered over on the Maze Arcana channel, or Maze Arcana, I believe is how they pronounce it. But all of their games tend to be set in that setting. It's just interesting how the same set of rules can be applied to so many different worlds, I guess. And it allows pretty much everyone a chance to explore their creative side, as well as, depending on the story they would like to have told or to help tell, which you should always discuss with your dungeon master before any game starts, because if you don't communicate well enough with the DM and expectations are confused, games can get derailed rather quickly because different people are looking for different things. I need the goat horns. I don't need the... what can I drop? Strangely enough, I got plenty of weapons for that. At least I think I do. There we go. Just gonna get this marked, run oh, there's another shout up there. Gonna get this marked and jump back to the house so we can drop off a bunch of this stuff. Again, this has all been mostly exploration for the fun of it, and gathering resources to finish off one of the homesteads before starting on the next one. I have yet to even buy the house in Whiterun or anything like that. It's been mostly just moving forward and getting things marked on the map, because fast travel is so much easier on this game. And we do have all the construction stuff downstairs, along with the smelter. So I'm gonna see if I can get the Quicksilver ingots dealt with real quick. Pick things up and see if we can finish off the alchemy lab, or alchemy tower, and whatever else might be available to be finished while we're here. That helps. And I know that a lot of this bit, the house building stuff and whatnot, tends to be a bit boring, and I apologize for that. However, I took care of 2 of those. It does allow me the chance to keep a better eye on chat, so I can talk with you guys rather than spend as much time focused on the game screen. I mean, there's still a certain amount of focus that goes on, because it is. I actually haven't. The main reason I use sneak more often than not is less about the sneak and more about that reticle there is easier for me personally than otherwise. But that's me. Anything else? I'm gonna have to... Yep. I figured it would annoy the Dawn Guard just enough to have them sitting there going, wait, you can't do that. Oh yeah, watch me. Rogue's got a rogue. I mean, fish gotta swim, asteroids gotta fly, right? And if you understand that reference, I'm rather surprised, because that's pretty obscure. Unless, I guess, if you're a Star Trek fan, then you're probably quite aware of the Spock versus Q. How do I not have a Quicksilver ingot? Didn't I have one? Quicksilver ore. Why would that not let me make the ingot? I'm gonna go find out. It takes more than Quicksilver ore for it, probably. There it is. I don't know why I didn't see that last time, but yeah. It happens, right? Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I did get the one though. Although how Neo ended up in this game, I have no idea. Yay. Okay, now the rest of the stuff is mostly cosmetic. So I don't have to worry as much about that. However, it is getting later, and I do have some other things I gotta get done today. It's getting close to 8 o'clock my time. I mean, I could stretch this a little, maybe. Depends. However, depending on how work goes, because even though this is technically work, at least for me, or at least part of it, whoops, didn't mean to do that either, not that I'm complaining. Once we do the once we do our, or get some of the rest of today's work done, I'd be willing to come back for a Insomnia Squad at some point later tonight if anybody would be interested. If not, well, I might end up doing one anyway, so. Nope, nothing up there. Dag nabbit. Again, this is more organization kind of thing than anything else. Don't need a pickaxe. I have a pickaxe. Okay. So now that those have been all cleared out, I'll put all the construction stuff here. The pelts again go back out front. Oh yeah, I was gonna see if I can make some make something real quick. Not yet, but once I put most of this other stuff away. Yeah, because I need those for beds. Wow. No. Not yet. That one. There we go. Cool. That will be the firewood barrel. Right by the archery target. That makes that nice and easy. Cool. Cool. That was helpful. And now we can make our potions right here at the house. I don't have to go anywhere for it. I mean, there's still the cosmetic stuff.
I am your sword and your shield.
Okay. Or, as I prefer to say instead, potassium. Because, well, I'm a bit of a smartass. It's actually my second middle name. Some of you may now be wondering, well, then what's your first one? That would be Danger. Seriously, too. Whoops. There we go. Dag nabbit. Bottom one. There we go. Spell books will go here. There we go. Anything else I'm carrying can be sold. At least as far as I'm concerned. That was those kind of things. Okay. That's the random stuff that I may have picked up. If I don't know exactly what it is yet, then I'll get to it. If I do know what it is, then eventually I'll end up getting to it because of quests. Where is it? And we'll get a bunch of these. Whoops. We'll get a bunch of these potion ingredients gone through. Once we get back to this, because that is a lot of potion ingredients. Do I need to drop any of these off? No, not really. What's in here? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, now weapons and armor that I'm not already using. Wait, I made arrows, not bolts. Huh. Whoops. 211 steel arrows, though. That ain't bad. For now. We'll put that away later. Anyway, I hope everyone's enjoyed your time here with us on in Skyrim. The Digital Den will be returning before too much longer, either tomorrow or possibly tonight. It depends entirely on oh, no problem. I enjoy being able to stream. Just sometimes it kind of annoys me that I'd like to be able to just stay on here and spend time with folks and talk about games and books, movies, and whatever else, but unfortunately, I do have other work that I'm needing to get done. However, I will be back first chance I get. Also, tomorrow being Sunday, Sunday will definitely be another Skyrim day, due to Skyrim mainly being a nice game for just strolling through and relaxing a bit. So we tend to call those the Sunday strolls. No, that wasn't what I was... There was something in here I was going to put away. Oh, the musical instrument. Is that here? Yes. Because we got to get those lutes and the flutes for Scanlan. If you don't know who Scanlan is, check out Critical Role's first campaign with the group Vox Machina. That's what their character's group name was referred to as. Oh yeah, I need to go upstairs. We do try, at least, to have something going every day. We're trying to get as far as a very specific regular schedule worked out. There are a couple of other people, other channels that we are big fans of, as I'm sure you may have noticed. Oh yeah, we already put all our construction stuff away. Okay. Yeah, so now we've got that going. Just have the rest of the cosmetic stuff to finish off the tower. But yeah, it's kind of interesting how even our break times involve games of some sort. And if we can get ourselves a nice... I'm gonna have to just stand here then. If we can get ourselves a nice capture card, then we could also start throwing in things like, I don't know, Call of Duty runs, or we've got like 1 through 4 for Assassin's Creed, but until we can get a capture card set up, we're kind of limited to what we have available on Steam and whatnot. But we are thankful that to those who come out and join us. if you find us entertaining enough, please feel free to give us a follow at twitch.tv/wolvesdengames, and we will definitely be continuing on as quickly as we can. In the meantime, we will be working on various projects, most of which is still heavily focused on specifically the tabletop gaming and whatnot. But I know in September there's another CageCon coming up. That acronym works out as the Cancer Awareness Gaming Event, or Gaming and Entertainment Event, something like that, where a bunch of streamers get together and whether it's D&D, tabletop, or video games, we try and help raise money for a bunch of different things. So in addition to all our regular work and our streaming during breaks, we also do charity work on occasion. So we're usually pretty busy, but if you need somebody to talk to, you're welcome to check out our chat here. Even if we're not running, I try to stay in chat as much as possible, even if I'm not on air. If I'm away from my computer or whatnot, and you still need somebody to talk to, definitely check out twitch.tv/criticalrole. There's almost always someone there, no matter what. They're also a much bigger channel than we are, so they can usually have more people available regardless of time zone and whatnot. Kind of a important thing. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go grab the announcer here, and I'll be right back, or we'll be right back with our little outro. So thank you all for joining us here, and if you do come over to twitch.tv/wolvesdengames, you'll notice down below the video there is a bunch of links and information on who we are and what we do. And don't forget, folks, cooperation, competition, community. Bye for now. Thank you all for joining us. Please give us a follow on twitch.tv/wolvesdengames. Long days and pleasant nights. Jate ka nade, or good night, everyone. They've walked you through Horizon Zero Dawn, through The Last of Us, and through For Honor. This summer, one man, one horde, one motorcycle, many, many locations with an open world map, and one very large arsenal. When the dust settles at the end of the day, who will remain standing? Will it be Deacon St. John? Or those he stands against? Find out for yourself at twitch.tv/wildwolfgaming1. Stay wild, everyone. In the video game streaming system, the viewers are represented by two distinct groups: the gamers who provide walkthroughs and compete for wins, and the entertainers who provide nonsense and fun. These are the games of the Insomnia Squad. Doink Doink by Mike Post. Come to twitch.tv/awolvesdengames and click the follow button. That way you will be notified for further games by the Insomnia Squad.